Non-Governmental Organizations' Role in Disaster by Melissa Alcantara. Okay, so to begin with, let's first define what an NGO is. A non-governmental organization, also known as an NGO, is any nonprofit voluntary citizens group which is organized on a local, national, or international level. And in their case, NGOs uses its extra funds for the purpose of the organization rather than just dividing it between the shareholders and the owners of the organization. And some examples of NGOs could include the International Rescue Committee, which responds to the world's worst humanitarian crisis and helps people to survive and rebuild their lives. Another could be the Partners in Health, which helps with fighting infectious diseases globally. And of course, the Red Cross and Salvation Army. The members and goal. So, with such organizations, the main objective is to provide emergency assistance such as aid and relief to disaster victims. And an example could be seen with the Relief International Organization, also an NGO, which is working closely with Syrian refugees to deliver clean water, health care, education, protection, and post traumatic support to these displaced people. Moving forward with sources and funding. So there are several ways in which NGOs are funded when disaster strikes. Of course, you have your general donations, which consists of people just donating, food, water, and clothing. And then there's self-financing. Here, NGOs may be able to just generate income themselves. And lastly, you have local financing, where NGOs may be able to raise funds from the local community and local institutions, such as businesses or specific professions. So there are four types of NGOs, and the first one is community-based organizations, which come out of people's own initiatives. These can include sports clubs, neighborhood organizations, religious or educational organizations. Then there's citywide organizations, which could include organizations such as Rotary or Lions clubs, chambers of commerce and industry, coalitions of businesses, ethnic or educational groups, and associations of community organizations. Then there's national NGOs, which include organizations such as the Red Cross and the YMCA. And lastly are international NGOs, which range from secular agencies like Save the Children, Oxfam, CARE, and they go even to religiously motivated groups. And international NGOs are responsible for funding local NGOs and carry out projects on the international level. And finally, the role of an NGO during a disaster could include immediate rescue and first aid, supplying basic needs such as food, water, medicine, and other immediate materials, also ensuring sanitation and hygiene, as well as just monitoring the affected region. During Katrina, Doctors Without Border, an NGO, sent over 100 doctors to help victims of Hurricane Katrina. Free the Children also donated over $1 million towards the reconstruction of schools, school supplies, and food and shelters to families who were victims of Katrina.